In this third video about CORS, we illustrate how to configure a restrictive and configurable CORS policy. Let's see first the flow of our configurable CORS policy. As equal as the previous example, we need to configure and activate the policy in our startup class. But now, when we created it, the policies get from the app setting JSON the header, vers, and origin that we want to allow. The values are stored in a CORS setting class and given to the startup to use them to configure our CORS policy. Let's see this in the code. To our demonstration, we're using the same program as the previous video, NetCore demo. Here, we are now configure CORS. That we know this policy is configurable, then we need the setting for store the information about the origin, the HTTP vers, and the custom header that we're using to configure our policies. For do that, we create a class in the application that hold this setting. Let's name this class CORS setting. And in this class, we need to have inside the following property. That is observe that these properties are array string because you can put different origin, different verb, and different headers. So you can put here a string, array string with this information. Now we need to create the setting, the program setting to store the information in the configuration. We can go to application setting, and we using the environment development to put the settings. In this case, we are create a section with the core values. In this case, we are using this origin. That is the origin as our demonstration program. This is the verb that we authorize it, and we create, for example, an authorization verb is. As you can see here, this is a array string. You can put this configuration in all your settings that need to use CORS. Third step, we need to configure the CORS in a startup file. Let's go now to the startup to configure the policy. Adding here the port. Observe here that we get from the configuration the settings, and we put all these values in this CORS setting here. We are previously created the variable for CORS setting, and that is the policy. Observe that the settings are applied to the policy through the API for CORS that exists in CORS 3.1. We are method or header, and in this case we need a name for the policy. We can name is restrictive, my restrictive policy. Very similar to the other example, we need to activate the policy, and for that, in the same place between routing and authorization, we activate the policy using this following instruction. And in this case, and that is different from the previous example, we need to put the name of the policy that we created here. With this, we are finished the configuration of the policy. We have in app setting all the values that we want to put in the policy. We are on a room, and we are ready to test this policy. For our test, we are using the same application, Blazor CORS, that is used at the website that's made the call to our service. Observe that this is the website, call to this one name, and they allow this import this domain, that is the domain of the website, like runs, post program. Okay. Observe that is the domain address from the website. Sorry, this is the domain address for our API. This is the domain address for our website. As you see in our policy, we are allowed this website to communicate with our API. If we now try to fetch data, the data are loaded because the policies are allowed to origin for this website, and this is a get, and there are no special headers. For our second test, we need to modify the policy and see what happens if we change the protocol to HTTP and not HTTPS. We maintain the same localhost or the same port, but we change the protocol. And what we want to demonstrate is that the protocol is part of the domain, in the case of CORS. There's room. And now we can run again. So, 12. And return fetch that. As you see now, you get a CORS error because the HTTPS call that made the website is not possible to so it's not allowed for the core policy because they expected a HTTP protocol. That's demonstrated that the protocol is part of our domain for CORS. For our third test, let's restore first the HTTPS protocol here and let's eliminate GET from the allowed verbs. That produces very interesting effect that gives us a more deep and understand how works CORS. Let's run this and open the clear the error. And let's try to go to our API. If you make fetch now, you get information, and you say why? Because you are eliminating from here the get. That happens because get, head, and post are considered by CORS as simplet methods, and they are implicit present in the access control allow method. You don't need to include them. This is different for put, delete, and patch. That must be present in the access control allow method to allow to be complete the operation. Resume, configurable restrictive core policies. These policies allow you to configure header, origin, and verbs that you want that your service responds when a cross-domain request is done. To use this policy, you need to create in the indicate app setting environment JSON the necessary configuration parameter. Remember that get, head, and post are implicit in the allow verb configuration. They are only restricted by the origin and custom header. In the next video, we will create multiple CORS policies to manage a usual test and production environment in the enterprise. And in our last page, you can find more information about our videos in avalonsoftware.com. If you consider this video was useful for you, please subscribe in our channel. Thank you, and see you in the next video.